Hello, welcome back. As you know, I'm Alex, this is Rupert, Business Growth Bureau. Great video, last one. We were talking about when people buy from you and why. Cracking video. If you didn't see it, obviously it'll be one of the, it'll be the video just before this one. This is number 3 now. So the point of today's video is actually to understand, it's really crucial actually, this is a great way to sum up the third video, would be to actually know your numbers. And why knowing your numbers is so important. So the first thing we're going to kick it off with is, what is that? What is knowing your numbers and what does that look like? Is it profit and loss? Is it balance sheets? What is it?
Right, it sounds incredibly boring, but unfortunately it is a very important topic. Because I've been in scenarios where I've been sitting in front of a potential client, then when we've actually looked at their real numbers, what they're selling their product for and service for, and their margins and everything else that goes with it, quite often we'll end up having a discussion saying, well, actually, basically your product mix or your pricing doesn't look right. And if you were to work using some of the methodology we sort of talked about or about to talk about, you're going to find you get a very poor return on investment.
Yes, because it's funny because we
about
actually
flipping it the other way around.
Yeah, of course, because we actually went to a bit of a seminar, wasn't it, yesterday, where they were actually talking about how many companies actually get this wrong, where they're actually saying that they're either pricing themselves too high and people aren't buying, or they're too low and they're undervaluing their product. And obviously we all know if something's too low, we perceive it to have little quality to none. So the important thing, I suppose, would be for the people watching and the people at home, and hopefully you're enjoying the series so far, is to understand that how much value is this worth? Obviously go out and do market research about that, but how much value is my product or service actually worth? It's particularly important if you're a coach or a mentor or in that kind of space, especially if you're where you're providing a service, is what is that actually worth to individuals?
Yeah, and actually it's even more important if you're more of what you class as a bricks and mortar business, or where you've actually got considerable overheads in running your business. Because if you get your pricing strategy wrong and your margins are too low, you could actually just be scaling a problem. So if your business is making very marginal profits and you scale and grow, you may actually find you actually run out of cash or move into a loss situation. So it's very important to understand that. But crucially, for example, if you were about to spend some money on marketing, you need to look at your product mix first of all, and also try and understand what your process for sale actually is. So, for example, it may well be to get one sale, you may need to have 3 meetings on average to get one sale, and it may be prior to that you need to have 10 phone calls. So it's a ratio of 10-3-1. Okay.
And so for the people at home, just to simplify that a little bit more, is you really need to understand of how many phone calls do I need to make, how many people do I need to be in front of to actually get at meetings and get to that. Then how many people, once I've been in front of them, how many people do I need to pitch to get one sale? Because we speak to a lot of people and they say, oh, I don't know, I may be making about 10 calls and getting 2 meetings. Oh, that usually leads to a sale. But when you drill down on those numbers, it's actually 20 phone calls to maybe 1 meeting, and out of that 1 meeting, they're not getting any sales. So what's really important is for you to sit back and think, okay, when was the last time I actually did some prospecting? But what kind of result did I have from that? So it'd be worth actually maybe even pausing the video, or even after this and making a note of it, of actually taking a minute just to sit there and think, when was the last time I did some prospecting? How long did it take me to generate one appointment from that? And then once that appointment came through and how many appointments I made, how long did it actually take me to get a sale out the back end of that? Which is funny actually, because one of the things that we do and we can talk to our clients about is, how do I go through a process, and we will get onto this, don't worry, is how do I go through a process where I can almost guarantee the amount of hot leads I'll be getting out the back of it? And that's really crucial, is does my process work? And this is something we'll be touching on a little bit later on, is does my process work? And what can I do to maybe fix things?
Yeah, and that's so important what Alex is talking about there. So, for example, we talked about a ratio of 10-3-1 there. Now, obviously, if you're making cold calls to get 1 meeting, maybe your ratio is not 10-3-1.
Well, that's funny, because we were with someone the day before last, and it was, 35 to 2 meetings or something mad like that.
That lead to 1 sale.
So obviously, if these numbers relate to you, if 35 calls lead to, say, 2 meetings for yourself and 1 sale, you really need to make sure that your numbers are high, or you need to change the way you're bringing your service to market.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. This is when people tend to be doing the marketing wrong. So, for example, some companies or organisations choose to use telesales. And telesales, we're not knocking telesales particularly, but it could be a very risky strategy to outsource that part of it, because they are representing your brand, so they can kill off opportunities as well as create new ones, or you could be run ragged on really rubbish appointments. So sort of dealing on from that really, your ratios, if it's like 35-3-1 as a case in point, probably means you're having to work too hard to get that phone call, and it's therefore really important to flip the dynamic around so people are actually asking to have that conversation.
Which is funny because I'm not going to go on to it too much because the process and how we do certain things internally, which is all backed by our guarantees, that's how confident we are in it. We get people to the point where out of every 100 people that we speak to, a minimum of about 30 people will actually engage with us, which is ridiculously high for the industry. And to go on from that, out of those say 30 to 50 people that engage with us, between 15 and 25 are asking for more information. And then we can, out the back of that, we actually get people to the point where 8 to 13 are actually asking for sales-based conversations. So it'd be really interesting if you found this useful to actually wait till the series comes out where we actually talk about that process. Those are the kind of numbers that we work to internally.
Yeah. What's really interesting, if you then look further back from those numbers, what it will help you to do, and obviously we can help you with this process, is it may be to actually generate that those 10 phone calls that it may require a total of, possibly, I'm making this up, but it might be say 100 people, 150 people actually need to be connected.
Obviously that's dependent upon industry sector.
It is, industry sector and the type of people you're trying to reach. So it could be higher or lower than that. But we will work with you to help you understand those numbers. We'll be also covering that in some future programs.
And let's just jump back a second here. Let's just say for an argument's sake, say someone's watching and they've got these numbers kind of right, or they've got them bang on. What kind of level of growth should I be looking at? So if we take year one, for example, do you think there's a specific number of or a specific percentage of growth that I should be aiming for year one? Or what do you think rate of growth should be? So obviously everybody wants 10x, everybody wants to be 100%, 200%. But is there a number, Rupert, do you think, for people watching that they can aim for that's ideal for year one?
Right, now, so you've raised a really interesting point, you see, because if it was me or Alex, we would want 10x, okay? So 10 times rate of growth. There is a big, massive risk with that, because obviously if you grow too quickly,
you can't keep up with it.
You can't keep up with it, so that could create massive problems. It could also mean you're out of cash because you can't support the sales that are coming through. You haven't.
So let's drill down. So, what do you think that ideal growth number would be?
This goes on very nicely to the next point around that, and that a large part those numbers only really you can answer, because for example one of the scenarios that we tend to find is that you get some companies or individual directors in those companies who actually want possibly a 10-15% rate of growth in the next year, be very happy with that. Others want to double it or triple it. Others fear more than about 5%. So we come across people who actually fear too little success. Obviously, if that comes down to return on investment. Equally, they fear too much success.
Yeah.
So we actually have to flip that question around, and we have to ask the client what they want, and then we'll put together in place, once we understand those numbers, or we'll recommend what you put in place to build that rate of growth based on the needs of your business. I suppose,
and I know you'll be happy with this as well, but what we would actually be happy to do is on the link to this video, if you've watched this far obviously, is we'll actually leave our scorecard on there, the business growth scorecard, because then, so not only can you understand what we're talking about, but so you can actually start asking these questions. The scorecard, by the way, what I'm talking about is you would have listened to, if you watched, I think it was the second video where we talked about the scorecard again, but we've created a scorecard where we ask specific questions about your business in terms of the rate of growth, where you're going, the future, your mindset, and around actually your activity, about to actually achieve certain things out of your business. So we'll actually leave the link up there for people to fill out. So if you've got this far in the video and you're enjoying the content and you want to see what we're talking about, I'd really recommend actually jumping on that scorecard, even if you just use it for your own internal use and just asking the questions yourself, to jump on and actually start completing that scorecard.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. You should go for it.
And in terms of that sums it up quite nicely. So the takeaway from this video would be the first thing, Rupert, what would the first thing to take away from this video be?
The first thing to take away from this video is about making sure you identify your ideal type of clients, you determine your rate of growth, make sure your pricing is right, make sure your costs are right, make sure that what you have is what clients want today and tomorrow, and then put in place the correct engagement process that people have to buy your stuff, because there's no other option other than to consider it.
Well, that's also marketing as well, which is obviously, for me personally, marketing is an amazing thing, especially through social media, and I can't wait for that series Don't know when it's going to be yet, but that series is going to be something else. Second thing for people to take away with, what would you give it?
Bottom line is the Nike tick, just do it.
There we go. And then the third thing I suppose would be complete the scorecard.
Yeah.
From a selfish point of view for a second, the scorecard will really engage with you, and it'll also give you the tools to be able to think about the questions you should be asking as an individual, whatever the size of your business is, whether you're a one-person consultant, whether you're 10 to 15 employees, or whether you're part of some of our clients, 250 plus employees. That scorecard really could help you answer some key questions you're struggling to answer in your business. So the scorecard link will definitely be on the bottom of this video. Somewhere around it, we'll put the link up there, down, wherever, I don't know yet. But we will put that link in there for you to fill it out.
Yeah. But also the really useful thing with the scorecard is that when you complete it, you get a copy in your inbox. And that proves, we get lots of comments, people replying back to us saying that's been really useful because we've used that as an internal discussion document.
Yeah.
And of course, then when we have a conversation with someone, we're able to get to the nub of what they want, or what's important for their business, and equally we can make sure that they go down the right path to really drive their business forwards.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I know I've enjoyed this one. This has been a really good chat. I'm sure Rupert has as well. I hope you have, though. More importantly, like I've always said in the video, the feedback that you guys give us, the feedback we've had before, is the reason we're doing these videos now. So as I said before, your feedback is our oxygen. You're the reason we're going to be carry on these videos. So any feedback, any comments, good or bad, put them in the comment below. Give us a tick if you enjoy, and we'll see you for session 4, not season 4, session 4, where we'll be talking about something we don't know yet, do we?
You know, we've just got that all mapped out and working on it right now.
There we go. So thank you so much. Once again, I'm Alex Smith. This is Rupert Honeywood from Business Growth Bureau. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.